Chapter 51, Gold-Splitting Array. You are listening at novelfull.audio. No matter what the result of today's conversation is, the Qi family of Mo Yunshan is like a sword hanging over Zhou Daoqing's head, which may fall at any time and destroy everything now. Qi Yunxiao's casual words have already made Zhou Daoqing alert. Hehe, are you threatening me? If so, then I really have to go to this barren lake. The young man sneered and said with contempt, a family with only one foundation-building strongman, and an old thing with half a leg in the ground, I really don't know what the fifth elder thinks, and he actually trades with you. Even if he forcibly occupies that spiritual vein, what can your Zhou family say? Zhou Daoqing's eyes were solemn, unwilling to argue with this person, and his voice was as cold as the water in the abyss. I'm sorry for disturbing you today, Zhou said goodbye, but, give Mr. Qi a piece of advice, think twice before you act. Are you teaching me? Did I let you go? Qi Yunxiao's eyes flashed coldly, took a step forward, and drew the sharp blade in his hand. Zhou Daoqing was not interested in talking nonsense with this person anymore, so he turned around and left. Behind him, Meng Yueshan snorted coldly, and the spiritual energy around him shook, instantly offsetting the attack. Then he glanced at the young man lightly, and then turned around and followed Zhou Daoqing. Watching the two people leaving, Qi Yunxiao did not stop them, but a trace of fear appeared in his eyes. This person is so young, but he has the 8th level of Qi refining. Go check his identity. All the way back to the valley, Zhou Daoqing's face was very gloomy, the conversation was very short, and the two sides did not even ask each other's names and identities. They were tit for tat in just a few words, and there was no time to talk about the station. The other party's attitude was also very clear. He did not take the Zhou family seriously at all. He was arrogant and conceited, making Zhou Daoqing's plan completely impossible to implement. Even the result of this conversation is likely to increase the probability of barren lake being attacked. If this young man has a high status in the Qi family and can really contact a strong person who is close to the foundation building, he is likely to put today's words into practice. This also made Zhou Daoqing alert, with a lot of thoughts in his mind. On the side, Meng Yueshan dared not breathe, and after a long time, he whispered, Sir, your Zhou family is the same as the Qi family, both of which are foundation-building families. Why is this person so arrogant? Strength is respected. Zhou Daoqing was silent for a moment, and replied lightly, for the foundation-building family, even the gap of a foundation-building strongman is very huge. Moreover, this person has an extraordinary status, and his words show dissatisfaction with the family elders. This may involve competition within the family. We are an unprovoked disaster. Meng Yueshan nodded. Indeed, if it is a factional struggle within the Qi family, then we are really unlucky. Don't think too much, things have happened. If you want to really gain a foothold here, relationships and cooperation are secondary. The most important thing is your own strength. Zhou Daoqing said calmly. What should we do next? You go and check this person's identity and his status in the Qi family, and leave the rest to me. The two returned to the valley. Zhou Daoqing made a few instructions, asking Meng Yueshan and others to reduce going out and practice hard, and then return to the island. Half a month later, Lin Yuan returned smoothly and brought back the formation materials Zhou Daoqing needed. The number of formation materials purchased this time was large, most of which were first-grade medium quality, and a small number of first-grade low quality and high quality, with a total of about a dozen sets. After enlightenment and understanding the fusion formation, Zhou Daoqing's attainments in formations have been further improved and his progress has been rapid. For ordinary formations, Zhou Daoqing's comprehension has become stronger, and he can master and arrange them faster. He only needs to practice more. Soon, we will be able to touch the door of the first-grade upper grade. As for developing a new fusion array, it is relatively difficult. In addition to using the fusion of the spirit gathering array and other arrays, and the gold-splitting array, developed by the sudden enlightenment benefit, it is difficult to create other fusion arrays in a short time, and Zhou Daoqing's goal is actually the gold-splitting array. This array formed by the fusion of the flame array, and the golden sword array, is only of the first-grade middle grade, but its power is stronger than that of ordinary first-grade middle grade arrays, and it can roughly reach the power of the 8th level of Qi training. For everyone in the valley, even the weakest Zhang Yin can barely control the gold-splitting array. Gold array, not to mention Meng Yuashan and others at the 7th and 8th levels of Qi refining. If everyone can be equipped with a set of splitting gold array, Huang Zhua and others at the 7th level of Qi refining will be able to have the strength comparable to that of the 8th level of Qi refining. Zhou Daoqing, Meng Yuashan, Qin Lai, and Lin Yuan are likely to be able to fight against the 9th level of Qi refining. With mutual cooperation, it is also very likely that they will kill the 9th level of Qi refining. If combined with other formations, the combat power will be further improved. In this way, Zhou Daoqing's small force can also gain a foothold in this area. As for whether there will be foundation building masters, Zhou Daoqing has already considered it. Even for the Spirit Snake sect and the Qi family, foundation building masters are not easy to find. They are almost all stationed in important family bases and cannot be transferred around. Unless the mineral vein here is extremely valuable, it is impossible for foundation building masters to appear. At most, they can send 8th or 9th level Qi refining cultivators to take charge. Looking at the current situation, although this mineral vein has some value, it is far from reaching the level of asking foundation building masters to take action. It is just the threat of the young man that makes Zhou Daoqing always uneasy. Sitting cross-legged in the underground cave, Zhou Daoqing carefully examined the formation diagram in his hand. It was the new formation, splitting gold formation, that he created by using the method of fusion formation. If we can successfully produce a batch of gold-splitting array plates, the overall strength will reach the 9th level of Qi refining, not too far behind the Spirit Snake sect and the Qi family, and safety will be barely guaranteed. Zhou Daoqing sighed, and then he completely devoted his mind to the arrangement of the array. Long before, he was already familiar with the fiery flame array, the golden knife array, and the gold-splitting array itself, and every link of the arrangement was deeply engraved in his mind. Now that he arranged it himself, it was just a test of his control ability and his proficiency in the technique. Zhou Daoqing maintained a steady mentality, and the process of refining the array plate went very smoothly. Only when he really started to arrange the fusion array did Zhou Daoqing deeply feel the power of this special array. Whether it is the complexity of the array pattern or the difficulty of arrangement, it is similar to the first level middle grade, but the power displayed is even more powerful. It took 2 months for Zhou Daoqing to complete the refining of the first set of gold-splitting array plates. Finally, Zhou Daoqing grinned and showed a happy expression. He could not wait to input spiritual power, and the formation diagram slowly unfolded. In an instant, the entire formation was filled with violent energy. Zhou Daoqing originally thought that the two spiritual powers should be constantly colliding in the formation, and the flames and the golden swords would constantly impact to generate energy, thus causing damage to the enemy, but the actual situation was completely different. Chapter 52 Valley Development. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The formation looked surprisingly calm, with no explosive atmosphere at all, but a large number of irregular golden-red sharp blades floating around, seemingly harmless to humans and animals, but in fact, Zhou Daoqing could clearly feel an aura that made the hair on his head stand on end. The golden-red blade inside the formation is composed of 2 attributes, gold and fire. It is extremely unstable internally. Any slight collision will cause the blade to explode instantly. Once it explodes, it will explode with powerful force like thunder. Moreover, whenever a sharp blade explodes, it will instantly cause other sharp blades to explode together. The power of that moment is very terrifying. Zhou Daoqing conservatively estimated that in this kind of golden cracking formation, even the 9th level Qi training monks would have a high chance of being injured if they were unable to resist, let alone the 8th level Qi training monks. The joy on Zhou Daoqing's face could not be dissipated for a long time. He perfectly integrated the powerful attack methods of the flame array and the golden sword array, and integrated them into one, complementing each other, achieving the effect of 1 + 1 greater than 2, which perfectly demonstrated the power of the fusion array technique. Magic. The only drawback is that the golden splitting array will consume all the spiritual energy in an instant, so it cannot be used for a long time, but even so, using the cracking gold formation is a surefire way to make money without losing money. Zhou, who is equivalent to the 7th level of Qi training, only needs to activate the formation to explode with the combat power of the 8th level of seriously injured Qi training. Zhou Daoqing believes that once this kind of formation appears in the city, it will inevitably cause a storm and cause a large number of powerful forces to rob it. This represents a huge amount of wealth. But after thinking about it, Zhou Daoqing couldn't help but smile bitterly. The most important thing now is not whether he can earn spiritual stones, but whether he can survive under the pressure of the Spirit Snake sect and the Qi family. He is not yet confident that he can fight against the two major forces with just a set of first-level mid-grade gold cracking formation. Even if the two forces do not send out foundation building experts, there is a high probability that elders from the 9th level of Qi training will come, which is still very troublesome for Zhou Daoqing. In order to ensure nothing goes wrong, Zhou Daoqing must have the strength to fight against the 9th level of Qi training, and have at least 2 sets of splitting gold formation, temporarily ending the retreat, leaving the underground cave and heading to the valley behind White Scale Lake. He found Meng Yueshan and others who were practicing and handed him the first set of splitting gold formation. Everyone was still in awe of Zhou Daoqing's accomplishments in formations, but they couldn't help but be a little disappointed when they saw that it was just a set of first-level mid-level formations. After all, for a strong person at the 8th level of Qi training, although the improvement of the first-level mid-level formation is not small, it will not bring about a qualitative change. Zhou Daoqing didn't care too much. Only when they actually used the splitting gold formation, would they know how powerful this formation was. As for the user of this formation, Zhou Daoqing had already made a decision. Meng Yueshan would be the first to follow him. Since they knew each other better and were not weak in strength, he was naturally the most suitable candidate. After giving the array, Zhou Daoqing also asked about the recent situation. Meng Yueshan took a serious attitude and answered cautiously, "Recently, we have been practicing in the valley in accordance with your request, and have not attracted the attention of other forces. During this time, the Spirit Snake sect and the Qi family seem to have no energy. Take care of us." Zhou Daoqing asked doubtfully, "They don't have the energy to take care of us. Their conflict is serious." Meng Yueshan nodded in approval. "Yes, it was just a small-scale conflict some time ago. Recently, the scale of the conflict is expanding, and it has reached the level of 20 or 38th level Qi refining experts." Zhou Daoqing couldn't help but take a breath. Even for the Zhou family, a battle of this scale was considered very serious. Moreover, when the base camps of both sides are far away from here, they can still send so many strong men, so it shows the seriousness of the conflict. It seems that the value of the resources in this vein is not low. Zhou Daoqing showed a trace of sadness on his face, turned around and asked, "Who has the advantage between the two sides?" "It should be that the Qi family has a slight advantage. I have specifically learned that the Spirit Snake sect had conflicts with surrounding forces some time ago and lost a 9th level Qi training elder and several 8th level Qi training warriors, so it is a bit difficult now. On the contrary, the Qi family has strong troops and strong momentum." Meng Yueshan frowned, and he knew very well that once the Qi family gained an advantage, it would be very disadvantageous for them. Zhou Daoqing's eyes were calm and he did not show any concern. Instead, he changed the subject and asked, "How about I asked you to check the identity of that young man last time?" Meng Yueshan did not answer, but looked at Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan has many friends among casual cultivators, so I left it to him to investigate. "Where's Lin Yuan?" Turning around, Zhou Daoqing looked for Lin Yuan in the valley. "I found him sitting boredly by the pool, playing with the shrimps with a stick." This scene made Zhou Daoqing's veins jump. Seeing that Zhou Daoqing's face was wrong, Lin Yuan hurriedly smiled, patted his pants and stood up from the ground, saying, "Well, I have already asked. This person is of high status. His name is Qi Yunxiao, heir to the head of the Qi family. His father is the current head of the family. Grandpa is a strong foundation builder." As expected. Zhou Daoqing nodded. To be so arrogant, his status is naturally unusual. He is most likely to be the mainstay of the younger generation. What is even more unexpected is that a strong foundation building expert from the Qi family is actually his own grandfather. Zhou Daoqing secretly said that he was in trouble. Fortunately, the Spirit Snake sect was supporting him for the time being. Otherwise, if the Qi family really wanted to break out and attack Balan Lake, he would not be able to handle it. The competition between the Spirit Snake sect and the Qi family will not end in a while. You will keep an eye on it and notify me in advance if you have any problems. Zhou Daoqing ordered Shen, tell me about the things in the valley, how are you lately? What Zhou Daoqing called the valley was nothing more than everyone's cultivation, planting and breeding. After a simple check, it was found that the strength had not changed much. Only Zhang Yin had recently successfully broken through and reached the 7th level of Qi refining, therefore, there are now 3 people at the 8th level of Qi refining and 4 people at the 7th level of Qi refining in the valley. The overall strength is not weak. Zhou Daoqing also personally checked the development of the valley. The 6 green-bearded shrimps have successfully settled in the pool. The water quality here is good and the concentration of spiritual energy is very suitable for survival. However, there is a lack of food. Because the pool environment is relatively clean, some insects need to be caught specifically for them. At the same time, in order to enrich the environment in the pool, Lin Yuan also picked some water plants from the White Scale Lake and planted them at the bottom to clean the water quality and create a suitable living environment. At the same time, some small fish fry were caught and placed in the pool for cultivation. Now they are all thriving in it, and by the way, they can enrich the recipes in the future. After Zhou Daoqing checked and found no problems, he felt relieved. He was worried before that these rough old men would make a mess of the valley, but now it seems that the situation is not bad. Chapter 53 Young Master. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The yellow thorn vines in the valley are mainly responsible for the 4 7th-level Qi refining monks. For this purpose, they were specially taught planting techniques. Compared with the cultivation of green-bearded shrimp, the cultivation of yellow spinach is more troublesome, and there are many details that need to be paid attention to. For example, if weeds grow around the repair, avoid robbing the soil of nutrients. Or prepare some common growth solutions to supplement the nutrients needed for growth. Clean up any little bugs that might be eating the roots, etc. There are dozens of requests. Large and small, all recorded and checked every day to ensure the healthy growth of the yellow thorn vine. So usually, the 3 8th-level Qi refining experts would occasionally go out, but the 4 of Huangzhou stayed in the valley almost every day, and there were all kinds of trivial matters that they needed to worry about, and they completed these tasks very well. Zhou Daoqing discovered that the yellow thorn vine grew very fast, and under the watering of the rich spiritual energy, it had reached the first-order mid-grade quality in just a few months. It's just that it's generally still relatively immature. Although it can barely be used as a formation material, the effect is not yet at its best and needs further training. As we all know, formations with different quality materials will have different effects. Similar to elixir refining and weapon refining, there are also very strict requirements for materials. If the age is insufficient, the finished product will be greatly affected, and it may even fail to be refined at all. It takes a lot of time to reach the first-order high-grade spiritual plant like yellow thorn vine, and it also requires a special growth solution. It is relatively difficult, but it is relatively simple to reach the first-order mid-grade. Zhou Daoqing thought about it and thought that it would not take long for the quality of the yellow thorn vine to reach the standard, and then he could start to arrange the first-order middle-grade thorn vine array. Moreover, there are a lot of yellow thorn vines, and they can refine a large number of array discs, which will bring huge benefits. Moreover, thorn vine formation can also use formation fusion methods to create a more powerful formation. It may have a chance to rival splitting gold formation. Zhou Daoqing is also extremely looking forward to it. Wandering in the valley, Zhou Daoqing suddenly saw that there were some other crops planted in other corners of the valley. They were scattered and not large in area, but they were quite rich in variety. Did you also plant these spiritual plants? There seem to be many kinds. Huangzhou replied honestly, yes, sir, some of them are spiritual plants that Brother Meng and others found when they went out. They are relatively easy to grow, so they brought them back. Most of them are first-order low-grade and medium-grade. Zhou Daoqing nodded silently. For Mengyue Mountain and Linyuan, they have been in the mountains in this area all year round. They know the environment here very well, and naturally know some spiritual plants that can be planted. However, among these crops, Zhou Daoqing also saw moonflower grass and crystal jade rice. Sensing Zhou Daoqing's gaze, Huangzhou hurriedly explained, previously, the moonflower grass and crystal jade rice on the island were mature, and we harvested and stored them according to your requirements. However, some of the quality was not up to standard, and it would be a waste to throw it away. I'll take it back to the valley and plant it here. Zhou Daoqing recalled that before he went into seclusion, he told a few people that if the moonflower grass and spiritual rice matured, he would ask them to apply for harvesting and brew moonflower brew. It seems that unknowingly, it has been more than half a year since we arrived at Balan Lake, and even the first batch of moonflower grass has matured. Time flies indeed, Zhou Daoqing smiled and patted Huang Zhuo's shoulder. Well done. Sanggu has begun to take shape. You have made great contributions. Huang Zhuo was stunned for a moment, then he bowed flattered. His serious look made Zhou Daoqing dumbfounded. Huang Zhuo is a middle-aged casual cultivator who has experienced many hardships and is well aware of the cruelty of the world of immortality, so he always behaves cautiously. Although this makes his work efficient, it is not a good thing to maintain a tense spirit at all times. In comparison, Meng Yueshan, Lin Yuan, Qin Lai and others are much better. They have more knowledge and confidence. Although they are usually respectful, they are relatively more comfortable. Then Zhou Daoqing also looked at the others and said in a relaxed tone, you don't have to be too upright in the future, just be more easygoing, and there is no need to call me sir anymore, it sounds too unfamiliar, and strictly speaking, you should not be older than me. I'm small. Lin Yuan spoke quickly and said familiarly, if you don't call me an adult, you are still younger than us. How about we call you a villain? Zhou Daoqing's eyes twitched, and his face darkened instantly. He's so fucking kicking his nose in the face. With Lin Yuan's mouth, it's really rare to walk in the world of immortality without being beaten. Lin Yuan, do you think you are very humorous? Ah, ha no, I just made a joke to lighten the atmosphere. Lin Yuan said with a big smile. Zhou Daoqing didn't bother to pay attention to him. This person's personality was like this. Although he was a little out of tune, his ability was still pretty good after all, and he could also add some vitality to Sanggu. Meng Yueshan said at the right moment, since that's the case, how about we call you young master? Maybe it's more appropriate than sir. Zhou Daoqing thought for a moment and then agreed. At this moment, Zhou Daoqing suddenly frowned, looking towards the deep forest not far from the valley, and vaguely felt a violent fluctuation of spiritual energy. At the same time, the three strong men at the 8th level of Qi refining also looked over, with some doubts and caution in their expressions, as if they had also noticed something strange. This is the fluctuation of the battle, and it seems that the distance is not too far, only a few kilometers away. Qin Lai calmly deduced. Meng Yueshan frowned. This distance, could it be the spirit snake sect and the Qi family? Damn, these bastards are getting more and more outrageous. They have come to my grandpa's door. Do you want to go up and beat them? That you don't need to look to know that the last sentence must be scolded by Lin Yuan. Meng Yueshan looked at him like a fool. We don't even have time to hide, and you still want to go up and beat them. Do you want to leave here after you finish and resume your wandering life as a casual cultivator? I don't want to. We can discuss this matter again. However, this time, Zhou Daoqing did not deny Lin Yuan's idea, but after weighing the pros and cons in his mind, he made a decision. We can't hide all the time, let's go and see the situation. As he said, Zhou Daoqing walked directly out of the valley. This made Meng Yueshan and others stunned, and after a little thought, they understood Zhou Daoqing's idea. The enemy is so close that there is no room to hide, they need to seek changes and ways to break the situation, not just hide. The 3 8th level Qi refining masters followed closely behind Zhou Daoqing, rushing all the way to the direction where the battle fluctuations came from. Feeling the fluctuations of the battle, Zhou Daoqing had a lot of thoughts in his mind, and suddenly an idea flashed through his mind. Maybe, it is not necessary to cooperate with the Qi family. Chapter 54 Mountains and Seas. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As soon as this idea appeared, it completely occupied my mind, taking root and growing deeper and deeper. For a long time, Zhou Daoqing was influenced by his inherent thinking and only regarded the Qi family as a partner for cooperation. On the one hand, it is because both parties are family forces. On the other hand, because they have had a cooperative relationship with the Qi family before, They naturally have a sense of closeness. On the contrary, it is the spirit snake sect. Since the two sides have never interacted with each other and are far away from each other, they do not know each other very well and have never thought about cooperation, but the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Zhou Daoqing looked downcast and seemed to have some thoughts in his mind. His eyes became brighter and he looked deeply at the place where the battle broke out. With an idea in his mind, Zhou Daoqing stopped on the spot. However, Meng Yueshan and the other three couldn't react in time and rushed out several meters in an instant. Lin Yuan, who didn't pay much attention to the road, hit a tree directly. Stars flashed in his eyes when he hit it, and he almost stood up and cursed. Meng Yueshan was also a little strange and asked, "What's wrong, master? Why did you stop suddenly?" Zhou Daoqing did not answer. He held his chin with his index finger and thumb. After thinking for a long time, he took out 2 black robes from the storage bag, threw one of them to Meng Yueshan, and ordered without hesitation, "Put it on." Regardless of the doubtful looks from several people, he took out another black robe and put it on, wrapping his whole body tightly. Although Meng Yueshan was confused, he still obeyed the instructions obediently. After he was dressed, he asked, "Sir, what are you doing?" "Killing people and stealing goods." Zhou Daoqing glanced at him speechlessly and said, "Put down your bandit mentality, we must pay attention to win-win cooperation." Win-win cooperation? Right, Zhou Daoqing said, "Both forces are stronger than us. Even if we are unwilling, we must cooperate with them to have any hope of survival. We do want to cooperate, but haven't we tried it before and they were unwilling?" Meng Yueshan said, stroking his beard. "If you don't want to cooperate, then force it to cooperate." Zhou Daoqing's eyes flashed with sharpness, and he ordered, "After all, the Zhou family's power is too small to be taken seriously by them. Even if they talk about cooperation with the spirit snake sect, it will be the same. At most, just being humiliated. So we have a new identity. From now on, we will no longer appear as the Zhou family, but will change our name to Shanheizong, to participate in the subsequent cooperation and battles. Do you understand?" After saying that, the three of them were silent, with a little light shining in their eyes. Perhaps Zhou Daoqing never noticed that when the word Shanheizong appeared from his mouth, the eyes of Meng Yueshan, Qin Lai, and Lin Yuan changed inexplicably, and they looked at Zhou Daoqing with a deeper look. In the past, their identities were only Zhou Daoqing's subordinates. Strictly speaking, they were just thugs of the Zhou family, but at this moment, when Zhou Daoqing accidentally said the name Shanheizong, it meant that their identities had completely changed. Completely transformed from casual cultivators and thugs to members of a force. Although this so-called Shanhai sect is just a casual statement by Zhou Daoqing and has not been recognized by other forces, at least this is a formal start. Zhou Daoqing and Meng Yueshan dressed up to prevent their identities from being recognized by the Qi family, and then cautiously approached the battle area again. After just a few breaths of delay, the battle was almost coming to an end, and it seemed that the winner was about to be decided. As he approached, Zhou Daoqing heard screams and angry shouts coming from the distance. "The thief of the Qi family dares to sneak attack on our spirit snake sect. You have the guts to fight us openly. You claim to be a prominent member of the Immortal sect, but you actually do such a shameless thing. Are you really shameless?" Then there was an old, cold voice. "In the world of immortality, the winner is the king, and the loser is the bandit. What are you talking about in an upright way? Have you been living like a dog for so many years? I am the deacon of the spirit snake sect. If you dare to kill me, the spirit snake sect will definitely fight to the death." Ha ha ha. This was followed by a burst of laughter, to the point of death. "Not to mention a mere 8th level Qi refining deacon, we have killed even the elders. What can you do to me?" The battle between the two sides was coming to an end, and the spirit snake sect was at a disadvantage. Many people had been killed and injured, and their defeat was certain. The Qi family is not that big, just an outing team, with only 2 8th level Qi practitioners and 7 to 8 7th level Qi practitioners. Qin Lai's voice was hoarse, and he whispered in Zhou Daoqing's ear, lowering his voice and asking, "Master, what should we do next? Help the spirit snake sect deal with the Qi family?" It's not necessary. Zhou Daoqing was unusually calm and said in a cold voice, showing goodwill will not make the spirit snake sect feel grateful, let alone actively seek cooperation. Only strength can make them bow their heads. Sir, what do you mean? Wait for the opportunity, follow my orders, and Meng Yueshan, give me the golden splitting formation first. Meng Yueshan was a little confused, but he still took out the formation, sir. Bu Gongzi, I know that you are very accomplished in formations, but after all, this is only a first-level mid-level formation. You want to scare the 8th-level Qi practitioner. Or, it's still a bit reluctant. A cold smile appeared at the corner of Zhou Daoqing's mouth. This is true for ordinary first-level mid-level formations, but my formation is not ordinary, that the battle between the Spirit Snake sect and the Qi family is still going on, but the direction of the battle has been determined, and most of the Spirit Snake sect's combat power is no longer capable of fighting. Only the deacons at the 8th level of Qi refining and a few strong men are still holding on, but they are already at the end of their strength. As the 2 Qi family members of the 8th level of Qi refining exerted their strength, they sacrificed a first-grade golden bell magic weapon, which radiated a powerful light, and the injuries of the Spirit Snake sect deacon continued to worsen, and he had almost no power to fight back. In just a few breaths, he was nailed to the ground by a long knife magic weapon. Taking your head should be able to exchange for a lot of contribution points. No, who is it? That the Qi family cultivator was about to swing his knife to kill, but suddenly turned his head, his pupils widened and looked around, his eyes full of fear. I saw a golden red light rising around him, and the spiritual energy around him was attracted, and mysterious patterns slowly appeared, and condensed more and more clearly. When the pupils of the Qi family cultivator contracted, his nerves were tense, and he looked around vigilantly, his heart seemed to be tightened by a giant hand. At this moment, he had only one thought in his mind: he had met a master of formations. Being able to set up a formation around them without them knowing was enough to show his attainments in formations. As the formation was perfected, golden red blades began to emerge from the inside. They looked harmless, just floating in the air, flickering and flickering, like broken pieces of magic weapons. However, the Qi family cultivators did not dare to act rashly, for fear of accidentally touching the taboos in the formation. Chapter 55, Horrifying Formation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Who are you? We are from the Qi family of Mo Yunshan. If you take back the formation, we can forgive you. The Qi family cultivator pretended to be calm. Hua. Stepping on the fallen leaves on the ground, 4 people slowly came from behind. For safety reasons, Zhou Daoqing finally asked all 4 people to wear black robes. Meng Yueshan deliberately lowered his voice and said, "Who are you? Dare to run wild in the territory of my Shanhai sect? Are you tired of living?" Although the voice was not loud, it was full of power and oppression, making the people of the Spirit Snake sect and the Qi family dare not breathe. The Qi family cultivator frowned slightly and asked with some suspicion, "Shanhai sect? We have been here for many days and have never heard of the Shanhai sect here. Are you?" Meng Yueshan interrupted directly and snorted coldly, "Do you think I am teasing you?" The Qi family cultivator's eyes moved slightly, revealing a dangerous light. "As far as I know, there is only one spiritual lake nearby, and it has been occupied by the Zhou family of Tianqi Mountain. Where is the so-called Shanhai sect?" Those kids. I don't care whose family this was before, but now we Shanhai sect have the final say here. Seeing that Meng Yueshan's momentum was not reduced, the Qi family cultivator did not dare to act rashly. After looking at each other, he asked tentatively, "May I ask who is the leader of this so-called Shanhai sect? What is his strength? Is it your turn to ask? Get out of here immediately, otherwise don't blame us for being merciless." Meng Yueshan was extremely impatient, his eyes were full of ferocity, and a faint hostility emerged under the body shrouded in a black robe. The arrogant attitude made the Qi family look gloomy, but they did not retreat, especially when they saw the quality of the formation. There was a trace of disdain on their faces. Do you really think that you can scare us with a first-level medium-grade formation and a few casual threats?" As he said this, the Qi family cultivator had lost his patience and took a step forward. they were not arrogant. After the initial tension, they realized the quality of the formation and Meng Yueshan's strength, and their fear was reduced a little. The Shanghai sect cultivators on the ground also went from the initial surprise to now full of disappointment. A formation and a cultivator of the 8th level of qi refining are not enough to make the qi family afraid. The atmosphere became tense. Zhou Daoqing took a step forward, and his slightly hoarse voice broke the atmosphere, saying lightly, "Shan Deacon. No need to talk nonsense, just kill them." The voice was slow and calm, with a suppressed momentum, and then he waved his hand casually in the puzzled eyes of the two forces. The next moment, the air seemed to freeze for a second. Qi Jia was about to speak, but his face suddenly changed. In the formation, a sharp blade suddenly emitted light, and the golden-red energy shone more and more, and began to tremble slightly. The originally stable spiritual energy quickly boiled, and a chilling breath leaked out. Not good. Before he finished speaking, a loud bang exploded in his ears. Everyone felt dizzy, and with the violent vibration, their bodies immediately became unstable. This was just the beginning. The rupture of a sharp blade led all the sharp blades to tremble. Before everyone could react, they heard continuous explosions, and the terrifying spiritual energy fluctuation set off a huge gust of wind, pushing the people outside the formation dozens of meters away. The spirit snake sect was already seriously injured. Except for the deacon who reached the 8th level of qi refining and could barely get up, the others only had one breath left. Now even the breath overflowing from the formation made them unbearable. They rolled their eyes directly, spurted out a mouthful of blood, and lay at the roots of the tree unable to move. The deacon of the spirit snake sect was shocked. He looked at the formation that was constantly bursting with energy, and couldn't help swallowing his saliva. Then he looked deeply at the 4 black-clothed figures. He could feel the power in the formation, which had reached the 9th level of qi refining. Even if he entered it at his peak, he would most likely be seriously injured. Once he was injured in the vitals, the probability of death was extremely high. This was beyond the concept of a first-level medium-grade formation. And the 4 black-robed men, and the Shanghai sect they mentioned, finally made him pay attention. These were just 4 ordinary disciples whose identities were unknown, but they could have such powerful strength. How powerful would the deacons, elders, and sect masters in their sect be? He roughly guessed in his heart that this was probably a foundation-building force, and a decent force. While thinking, the deacon of the spirit snake sect was secretly shocked, and slowly retreated to the back, trying to quietly leave in the chaos. But before he could act, a pair of big feet stepped hard on his back, and a cold voice sounded behind him. "Did you leave?" "Sir, I am from the spirit snake sect." Just when he was about to say something, he turned around and met Qin Lai's cold gaze. He swallowed his words and lay on the ground obediently. What shocked him was that the strength of the man in front of him was not weaker than when he was in his prime. He was an 8th level qi refining expert. However, it was not only the spirit snake sect deacon who was shocked, but also Meng Yueshan, Lin Yuan, and Qin Lai. The 3 of them were also confused at this time, looking at the rising golden fire power in the formation, and they were all stunned for more than 10 seconds. The energy that burst out in an instant just now, the air wave formed, made their hair stand on end. This must be more than the level of the first-level middle grade. Originally, they still disdained this set of first-level middle grade formations, thinking that their young master lacked common sense, but now, all that was left was shock. Qin Lai took a deep look at Zhou Daoqing's back, and once again felt that this young man was unusual. If a dull person only thinks that this is a powerful formation, no matter how powerful it is, you have only reached the 9th level of qi refining. But Qin Lai has been in the world of immortal cultivation for many years, and his mind is very sharp. He immediately realized the horror. This is a person who has broken the limit of the formation and has a terrible talent in the formation. A first-level middle-grade formation is comparable to the 7th to 8th level of qi refining. This is not a random talk, but a talk of experience left over from a long time. Qin Lai doesn't think it's easy to break this rule. Meng Yueshan and Lin Yuan may not have thought so much, but they also didn't come back to their senses for a long time, staring at the golden cracking formation with flames rising to the sky. The explosion lasted for more than a dozen breaths, and the time was very fast, but the effect was extremely terrible. Almost all the items in the formation were crushed, and the soil on the ground was also blown away by a foot by the powerful force. The 7th level Qi refining cultivator only lasted for a few seconds before being completely strangled and his body was gone. The situation of the 2 8th level Qi refining cultivators was also very tragic. One of them was near the center of the formation, bearing the most violent attack. After holding on for a few breaths, he could no longer withstand the continuous explosions and was eventually devoured by the flames and sharp blades. Another Qi refining level 8 cultivator was outside the formation, with a first-grade upper-grade golden bell magic weapon to protect him, but he barely survived. Chapter 56, Taking the Bait. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When the energy in the formation was exhausted and the attack gradually stopped, the man was shivering in the corner, his clothes had been completely destroyed, and dense injuries covered his whole body. The burning of the flames and the strangulation of the sharp blade, he was seriously injured and unable to fight back. Even the first-level high-grade golden bell magical artifact had a crack. Zhou Daoqing couldn't help but take a breath when he looked at the situation in the formation. The corpses had been burned to coke, the ground was deeply sunken, the earth, rocks and trees were turned into fly ash, leaving only some better quality magic weapons, and some wreckage after being destroyed. The power displayed by the splitting gold array was stronger than he expected, especially if it was done with mental arithmetic but without intention. Even the 9th level Qi refining experts would probably avoid its edge. The only survivor, the Qi family monk, looked at Zhou Daoqing in horror. He wanted to run away, but his body could no longer support him and he could only curl up on the ground. Mo Yunshan Qi family. Isn't it amazing, that the cold voice fell, followed closely by a mountain of spiritual energy that struck the man's head hard. There was only a pop sound, instantly depriving him of his life. Seeing this scene, the deacon of the spirit snake sect couldn't help but feel nervous, and at the same time he became more and more curious about the identity of his former intelligence. To kill the Qi family monk so unscrupulously, he either had sufficient strength as a basis, or he had a bad mind. He did not think that the group of men in black in front of him was the latter. However, he couldn't think too much now, because he had already seen that the leading man in black was already walking towards him. Facing the indifferent eyes, the deacon of the spirit snake sect summoned up all his strength to shout, "Don't kill me. Our spirit snake sect is rich, so we can spend money to redeem me." Zhou Daoqing paused in his steps, secretly thinking that this person was quite smart, otherwise he wouldn't really know how to deal with him. He made an appraising gesture, glanced around, and said calmly, "What is your name, and what kind of force is the spirit snake sect?" Seeing that the other party did not take action directly, the deacon breathed a sigh of relief and said hurriedly, "My name is Qin Jinyang, and I am the deacon of the spirit snake sect." As for the spirit snake sect, seniors may not know something, but it is the foundation establishment sect near the Blackwater Swamp. Because the founder of the sect tamed a mid-level second-level spirit snake, it was named the Spirit Snake Sect. Facing the pressure from Zhou Daoqing and others, this monk had no arrogance and wished he could answer 10 questions. Zhou Daoqing listened carefully in secret and carefully remembered the information about the Spirit Snake Sect in his mind. This was important information and was of great significance to future cooperation. However, on the surface, he still waved his hands indifferently and said impatiently, "The strongest is only in the middle stage of foundation building. If you dare to act recklessly here, tie him up and take him back." Qin Jinyang was shocked and secretly thought that the identity of these people was indeed not simple. They actually didn't even pay attention to the spirit snakes and monsters in the middle stage of foundation building. Combined with their previous vicious methods, it seemed that the power behind them was indeed extraordinary. Qin Jinyang was brought back to the valley without any struggle and was very honest all the way. But what surprised him was that when they reached a mountain of earth and rocks, they stopped, looked around and found that there was no road here. Just as he was about to ask, he saw the leader running his spiritual energy, his right hand attached to the earth and rocks in front of him, and then the rocks in front of him trembled slightly and retracted directly into the ground. Qin Jinyang's eyes widened. After careful inspection, he discovered that there were actually obscure formation patterns on the ground. He couldn't help but sigh in his heart. It seems that this force is definitely not weak. There are formations arranged at the entrance, and it seems that the strength is not weak. What surprised him even more was that this formation was always running, which consumed a lot of spiritual energy. Generally speaking, the formation is usually in a stopped state. Only when it is needed, mana or spiritual stones will be input to supply the energy required for operation. Only some extremely powerful forces with the support of powerful resources can maintain the operation of some important formations for a long time, but now, just the defensive formation at the entrance can be maintained, which is enough to show the opponent's wealth. But he didn't know that the formation in front of him was the first fusion formation created by Zhou Daoqing, the Earth. Imperial Spirit Formation. Because the spirit gathering array supplies spiritual energy, it can be maintained continuously. The earth and rocks are used to block the only entrance, making the valley more hidden and preventing monsters and monks from approaching. What he did unexpectedly made Qin Jinyang even more wary of the identities of Zhou Daoqing and others. Qin Jinyang spoke carefully and asked, "Seniors, I can pay a ransom to buy my life. If you are not worried, the Spirit Snake sect can deliver it in person. I wonder if you can let me live." "A ransom for a life, what can you offer?" Zhou Daoqing asked in a low voice. Qin Jinyang felt extremely stressed and looked extremely troubled. He hesitated for a long time before tentatively asking, "I wonder what you seniors need, spiritual stones? Pills? Or talismans? I wonder, are there any formation materials?" Zhou Daoqing turned his eyes and asked meaningfully. Qin Jinyang was stunned for a moment, remembering the two formations he had seen before, and immediately reacted, looking at Zhou Daoqing with even more awe, and asked, "Is the senior a formation master?" Meng Yueshan kicked him hard and said coldly, "Don't ask questions that you shouldn't ask, and answer honestly." This kick to the chest made Qin Jinyang, who was already seriously injured, immediately turn purple. Blood overflowed from the corner of his mouth again, and his rough face was full of nervousness. Zhou Daoqing stepped forward at the right time to stop Meng Yueshan's rough action, and said in a relatively gentle tone, "It's okay. Although I am not a formation master, there is an amazing senior in the sect who is proficient in one or two formations." "It's true." Qin Jinyang's eyes lit up. Although he had guessed this in his heart, he was still surprised when the other party said it in person. "To be honest, senior, our Lingxi sect occupies several first-level mines, and there are many materials suitable for refining qi and formations. If senior doesn't mind, I can use a batch of formation materials as ransom." "I wonder what senior thinks." Qin Jinyang was humble and almost lowered his status to the lowest. Zhou Daoqing looked at him calmly and said, "How can I trust you?" Qin Jinyang's eyes turned and he smiled. "Senior, if we are just strangers, we naturally cannot trust each other, but if we are in a cooperative relationship, can you trust me?" Hearing this, Zhou Daoqing's heart moved, a smile appeared on his face, and he thought to himself, "I've taken the bait." From the beginning to the end, whether it was killing the Qi family cultivators to show his strength, or pretending to be the powerful Shanhai sect, Zhou Daoqing had only one goal, that is, to cooperate with the Spirit Snake sect. There are many ways to cooperate, and if you can cooperate as a formation master, the benefits will be maximized. Chapter 57 Cooperation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. However, on the surface, Zhou Daoqing still showed a calm attitude and asked calmly, "What does cooperative relationship mean?" Qin Jinyang grinned and said, "To be honest with you senior, our Spirit Snake sect does have a lot of materials, but because we are not proficient in the art of cultivating immortals, we can only sell them to other forces at low prices. But if senior is willing, we can reach a cooperation and we will provide formation materials to you, senior." "But can we buy some formations at a low price?" Zhou Daoqing's face was crooked with a smile, but he still suppressed his excitement. After thinking silently for a few seconds, he asked in a deep voice, "Can you represent the Spirit Snake sect? Such a benefit is something that the masters and elders of our spiritual snake sect must be looking for. As long as I contact them, cooperation will not be a problem." Qin Jinyang's eyes showed a hint of expectation. If this cooperation can be negotiated, it will be a great achievement. Zhou Daoqing did not agree rashly. He took a sip of tea casually and said calmly, "If you sincerely cooperate, I can ask the elders for instructions. I am quite thin in Shanhaizong, so it shouldn't be a problem. But..." Then he changed his tone and said, "However, our Shanhaizong is not without partners. Most of the formations will be sold to other forces. We can only sell a small part to you, and the quality will not be too high. Hearing this, Chen Jinyang's face stiffened, and he asked with a slightly embarrassed look, I wonder, what is the specific quality and quantity? First class mid-grade, no more than 3 sets per year. Isn't this a little bit less, and if it's just a first-order mid-level formation? Chen Jinyang seemed to want to say something, but was worried about causing dissatisfaction, so he asked carefully, Senior, can the types of these 3 formations be the same as those that killed the Qi family monks before? That I can't blame Chen Jinyang for making such a request, because in the world of immortal cultivation, even if they are both formation masters, they are proficient in different formations. More or less, each of them is particularly good at it, or has a unique formation diagram. In Chen Jinyang's view, that kind of powerful formation that is obviously only the first level mid-level, but can kill the 8th level of Qi refining, and even rivals the 9th level of Qi refining, is undoubtedly the unique formation of Shanhai sect, and naturally has the greatest value. Zhou Daoqing smiled and nodded approvingly. I didn't expect you to be quite discerning. The golden splitting formation is not an ordinary formation. However, we are new to the Shanhai sect and you are the first force to cooperate with us. I can promise you, but in terms of formation materials. Chen Jinyang smiled excitedly and said, Don't worry, Senior, I will never treat you badly with the formation materials, but I can't make the final decision on the specific transaction process. I have to inform the elders of the sect. Forget it, you send a message back to the sect and let them talk in person. Chen Jinyang did not hesitate, took the communication stone handed by Meng Yueshan, and contacted the elders of the Spirit Snake sect under the watchful eyes of several people. In fact, this approach is very risky. If Chen Jinyang has evil intentions, it may bring the danger of overturning to the valley. However, if he does not take the wrong approach, Balan Lake will also need to face the crisis of destruction in the future. Rather than being forced to invade, it is better to take the initiative and pave the way for the future. Moreover, it now seems that Chen Jinyang has no doubts about the identity of Shanhaizong, and the possibility of success is not small. Chen Jinyang notified the elders of the sect of everything that happened, including the attack by the Qi family, the Shanhai sect's action to kill the Qi family monks, and the cooperation in formations. In the Blackwater Swamp, a sect hidden in the deep forest gathered several strong men from the Spirit Snake sect. The leader was wearing a black robe and had an elegant appearance. He was in his early 30s. He was surrounded by a huge black snake-like monster with a powerful aura. Sect Master, the information sent back by Deacon Chen is completely consistent with the situation we have discovered, and we should be able to believe it. An old elder whispered back. The sect leader sitting at the head looked neither happy nor sad. After a moment of silence, he suddenly said with a hint of confusion, Do you know anything about this so-called Shanhai sect? This. Several elders of the 9th level of Qi refining looked at each other, unable to explain for a while, so they had no choice but to reply, I have never heard of it, but there are so many powerful sects in the world, and it is normal for some of them we don't know. Another person also echoed, Indeed, according to what Director Chen said, the other party accidentally discovered a first-order high-grade spiritual vein, so he moved here. It was not originally a force in this area. And the original owner of that spiritual vein is said to be the Tianqishan Zhou family. The sect leader nodded slightly. The source of the spiritual veins was clear, which made him let go of his vigilance. In that case, what do you think of this cooperation? It's all beneficial and no harm. An old elder said seriously, Our Spirit Snake sect has been inherited for hundreds of years and has a lot of mineral resources. However, its power has increased slowly, and its wealth is far less than that of the Mo Yunshan Qi family. The main reason is that it does not have the assistance of immortal cultivation skills. So we can only sell the ore materials at low prices, and then spend a lot of money to buy elixirs, magic weapons, and talismans. The actual annual profits and losses have long been beyond our means. If we can reach this cooperation, it will be of great benefit to our development. Furthermore, I heard from Chen Jinyang's description that this Shanhaizong is proficient in the art of formations. One of the formations is obviously only a first-level mid-grade, but its power can directly kill an 8th-level qi refining expert. If we can trade it, it can be greatly improved. Improve our strength. When the sect leader heard this, he couldn't help but his eyes lit up. After thinking for a long time, he said, well, in that case, the second elder will be responsible for this cooperation. If the Shanghai sect is indeed as mysterious as Deacon Chen said, from now on you need to make good friends. The next day, the people of the Spirit Snake sect rushed to the valley with a batch of materials. It was the first time for the two sides to meet, and both Zhou Daoqing and the second elder of the Spirit Snake sect were extremely cautious. Outside the valley, Zhou Daoqing saw an old man in black robes, with a withered and cold face and a restrained and powerful aura. Chen Jinyang had recovered a little at that time, and because of the conversation yesterday, he was more familiar with Zhou Daoqing and others, and took the initiative to introduce, Senior, this is Han Yi, the second elder of my Spirit Snake sect. Elder Han, this is the senior of Shanghai sect I mentioned in the message. Han Yi looked calm and glanced at the people in front of him lightly, but when he saw Zhou Daoqing, his expression could not help but change slightly. He could clearly sense the strength of the other three men in black. All of them were strong men of the 8th level of qi refining, which was already very strong. However, he could not see through the strength of the leader. It was like hitting a towering mountain, heavy and full of power. The quality of Zhou Daoqing's practice is far superior to Han Ye's, and the quality of his magic power is extraordinary. If he does not actively display his aura, it will be almost impossible for Qigong practitioners to see through it. Chapter 58 Formation Cooperation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. While Han Yi was sizing up, Zhou Daoqing was also sizing up the person in front of him. The world had reached the 9th level of qi refining, which made him feel stressed. Han Yi looked at him for a long time and finally couldn't figure out the strength of the person in front of him. He thought to himself, this person's aura is extremely strong. Could it be that he is a strong foundation builder? But it seems a little worse. Could it be that he is at the 9th level of qi refining like me? It's really strange why I can't see through his strength. After pondering for a moment, he finally bowed respectfully and said, I am Han Yi of the Spiritual Snake Sect. I am here this time to discuss cooperation with my seniors. Zhou Daoqing glanced at him coldly and said calmly, before we talk about cooperation, let's talk about the ransom first. You, a junior from the Spirit Snake Sect, invaded our sect and should have been killed directly. Sparing his life is already for you. Face. Han Ye's face froze. When they were looking for Chen Jinyang's traces, they saw the traces left by Nadu. The terrifying scene was unforgettable to them. The person in front of me said that he spared Chen Jinyang's life, which was not an arrogant statement. Senior, we have prepared the ransom. Here are 300 pounds of first-order middle-grade gold and iron stones, as well as some common formation materials. As he said that, Han Yi flicked his right hand, and a batch of neatly cut metals appeared on the ground, as well as a lot of formation materials, all of which were first-level and mid-grade. Zhou Daoqing just took a casual look at it and couldn't help but feel excited. This kind of golden sword iron stone was of high quality, better than the material used in the previous golden sword formation, and could be used to make metallic formations. If you buy these formation materials at the market, it is conservatively estimated to cost 500 spirit stones. On the surface, Zhou Daoqing deliberately kept a calm expression. After looking at it for a few times, he put it directly into his storage bag. Then, he directly released his control on Chen Jinyang and pushed him in front of the old man in black. Seeing that the other party was still abiding by the rules, Han Yi secretly breathed a sigh of relief. As long as the other party was a reasonable person, it would be easier to discuss subsequent cooperation. Senior, Deacon Chen has taken the liberty of disturbing you. Although the ransom has been paid, Han still has to apologize to you for him. Han Yi bowed respectfully, which put an end to the previous unpleasantness. Zhou Daoqing nodded with satisfaction. This person knew how to deal with people and spoke very measuredly, so it was naturally much easier for him to talk. Forget it, let's forget about it. There are a lot of seniors. Why don't Chen Jinyang quickly express his thanks? Qin Jinyang also bowed respectfully and thanked him without hesitation. After the matter was revealed, Han Yi relaxed completely, and today's conversation had gone smoothly so far. Senior, I heard that the Shanghai sect is a major formation sect, so in addition to Qin Jinyang's matter, our Spirit Snake sect also wants to talk to our seniors about formation cooperation. Zhou Daoqing's heart tightened and he said in a deep voice, Your Excellency, you can tell me in detail. Our Shanghai sect is not lacking in cooperation. If the conditions are too harsh, I'm afraid we won't be able to agree. Han Ye's face lit up and he said, Senior, I definitely come here with sincerity. The Spirit Snake sect has many resources similar to mineral veins and can provide basic materials for laying out formations. I hope to exchange them for some different types of formations. Zhou Daoqing thought about it and found that this was exactly what he needed. I wonder which of the resources the Spirit Snake sect has can be supplied in large quantities for a long time. Han Yi was well prepared and explained, there are 3 resources that can be provided for a long time and in large quantities. They are Jin Gu iron stone, giant scale bamboo, and fire lang stone. The quality is all first-level mid-grade. These 3 first-level mid-grade materials are not particularly precious, but they are not cheap resources either. Zhou Daoqing seems to be very good. Okay, how about 100 kilograms of Jin Gu iron stone and fire lang stone, 20 giant scale bamboos, and 2 sets of first-order mid-level formations every year. Zhou Daoqing gave his own conditions, but when he said these words, Han Ye's face looked very ugly, as if he was hesitant to speak. Senior, is this price too high? Zhou Daoqing glanced at him lightly, and the price he said was indeed not low. It would cost more than 2,000 spiritual stones in exchange for spiritual stones. However, he also had many considerations when proposing this price. First of all, ore materials cannot be used directly. They need to undergo subsequent refining and purification. It is already good to get 10 kilograms of finished product from 100 kilograms of ore. Secondly, the Spirit Snake sect has mineral veins. For them, the price of raw materials is relatively cheap. Although 100 kilograms is a lot, it is definitely not a burden. Finally, and the most important point is to have enough confidence in the quality of the tactics. The formation created using the fusion formation technology has more powerful power and diverse functions while maintaining the same quality. These advantages are unmatched by other formations. Zhou Daoqing did not make any concessions, but said calmly, Chen Xiaoyu has already seen the power of the formation, and he knows best whether it is worth the price. Han Yi glanced at Qin Jinyang, only to see him nod fiercely, and said seriously, Elder Han, that kind of formation is really special. With first-level mid-level quality, it can easily kill 2 strong men at the 8th level of qi refining. It is definitely worth it. When Han Yi heard this, he rolled his eyes angrily, glared at Qin Jinyang, and almost wanted to kick him away. I don't know how powerful the formation is. I haven't seen the traces caused by the formation. But this is negotiation, you have to negotiate for a lower price. Otherwise, others will think you are being taken advantage of. As a result, this stupid kid said, Old man, how can I lower the price? Han Yi sighed helplessly, feeling powerless, and said helplessly, Senior, if they are all the formations with power far exceeding ordinary first-level medium-quality formations, this price is appropriate, but, can the quantity be increased? We can provide more materials. Zhou Daoqing couldn't help but twitch his mouth. It seems that his price is still too low. The amount of materials that the other party can produce every year is definitely not small. However, he did not plan to increase the quantity. 2 sets a year is already the limit. More will affect his own practice. Moreover, he also needs to keep some formations for himself to improve his strength. Let's leave it at that for now. The sect still has cooperation with other forces. If there is a chance in the future, it won't be too late to increase the number of transactions. Han Yi wanted to pull it again, but Zhou Daoqing chose to send him away directly and ended the conversation behind closed doors. The cooperation was finalized. The Spirit Snake sect would send the raw materials every year, and Zhou Daoqing would also provide 2 sets of cracked gold formations. The cooperation officially started at the end of the year. When everything was discussed and Han Yi left with Qin Jinyang, Zhou Daoqing breathed a sigh of relief. A cooperative relationship like this is like walking on a tightrope at high altitude. If you are not careful, you may reveal your flaws, but fortunately, the contact time between the two sides was short, and the powerful power of the golden splitting formation was used to shock the spirit snake sect, which made the cooperation go smoothly. Meng Yueshan sat down on the stone, wiped the sweat from his forehead, and said, "It's finally over. The other party is a 9th-level qi refining expert. He can kill 4 of us alone. You are really brave, sir." Chapter 59 Half a Year. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Zhou Daoqing just smiled. Such an adventure was really a helpless move. No matter how dangerous it is, at least it will be safe for the next period of time. The Spirit Snake sect has reached a cooperation with us, so it will naturally not attack us again. The Qi family has lost many members, and they will not attack again in the short term. It should be safe for a while. Qin Lai also nodded and said, "Moreover, with the formation provided by the young master, the Spirit Snake sect may be able to turn defeat into victory in the scramble for the nearby mineral vein." Zhou Daoqing stretched lazily, took off his black robe casually, threw it to Meng Yueshan on the side, and said, "In the next period of time, you should intensify your practice, improve your strength as soon as possible, and strive to make the Shanhai sect a truly powerful force. After all, fake is fake after all, only strength is the truth." Time flies, and several months have passed in a flash. During this period of time, Zhou Daoqing has been practicing and refining formations in the underground cave. With the supply of rich spiritual energy, his strength has reached the late 7th level of qi refining. At the same time, a batch of arrays were made, including 3 sets of gold splitting array, 1 set of thorn vine array, and 1 set of golden spear vine array, 3 sets of gold splitting array, 2 of which were used for cooperation with the Spirit Snake sect. The 2 parties have successfully completed a transaction, and the remaining set was left in the valley to improve their strength. Thorn vine array, because many yellow thorn vines have reached the 1st level middle grade, Zhou Daoqing had nothing to do to refine a set of them, wanting to see how powerful they are. However, the result was a bit disappointing. The thorn vine array, which was mainly used to trap the enemy, only had 3 thorn vines inside, and the control effect was not obvious, and the attack strength was also average. Therefore, Zhou Daoqing subsequently created a new array, golden spear vine array, by means of fusion array, golden spear vine array, which was formed by the fusion of golden knife array, and thorn vine array, wrapped with a layer of golden spear on the thorn vines. Although the control ability was not greatly improved, the attack strength was increased a lot. Unlike the instantaneous burst of the gold split array, the golden vine array is like a violent storm, exerting continuous attacks, and can artificially control the swinging of thorny vines, which can cooperate with the battle to a great extent. To a certain extent, the effect of the golden vine array is better than the gold split array. After all, although the gold split array has stronger attack power, it cannot be controlled. It is an indiscriminate attack and there are many uncertainties in its use. On the contrary, the golden vine array is more stable. Moreover, there is another very important point, the materials required for this formation. They are golden sword iron stone and yellow thorn vine. Zhou Daoqing has them all, and in large quantities. According to Zhou Daoqing's idea, the golden vine array will become the mainstream of the battle next, and the gold split array will be used as a backup to cooperate with each other. As for cooperative sales, both can be sold. However, Zhou Daoqing does not intend to sell formations such as the Earthguard Spirit Array that incorporate the Gathering Spirit Array because the characteristics are too obvious. Whether it is the Golden Vine formation or the Splitting Gold formation, at least the use is not much different from the normal formation, and it will not attract attention. However, the Earth Control Spirit formation is completely different. It can operate independently for a long time without the need for spirit stones or the input of mana from the cultivators. Once this formation is leaked, it will immediately attract a lot of attention, which is definitely not what Zhou Daoqing wants to see. Now the overall development is stable, and the valley has become more and more perfect under the development of Meng Yueshan and others. Originally messy, it is now full of traces of life, with green spiritual plants everywhere, and even some green bamboo and flowers planted for decoration, truly becoming a valley suitable for survival and cultivation. Moreover, at the suggestion of Zhou Daoqing, this valley also has its own name. Secluded Valley, the Shanhai sect, which was casually mentioned, has become more and more perfect now, and even under the intentional or unintentional spread of the spirit snake sect, it has become a real force. However, perhaps because of the fear of causing displeasure to the Shanhai sect, the Lingxi sect did not advertise it widely, so only a few people knew that there was a suspected powerful sect deep in this mountain range. This is exactly what Zhou Daoqing hopes to achieve. Spread the reputation of the Shanhai sect in a weak and slow way. As its own strength becomes stronger and stronger, the Shanhai sect will naturally enter the field of vision of the public, and in the subsequent planning, if you want to continue to sell the formation and obtain a large number of spirit stones, you must have a suitable identity, and the name of the Shanhai sect is the most suitable choice. At the same time, in recent times, another important thing has happened, that is, the competition for the nearby mineral vein has gradually come to an end. The Lingxi sect has encountered the final victory. According to the intelligence discovered by Meng Yueshan, the Lingxi sect used the Golden Split Formation to severely trick the Qi family. While destroying a Golden Split Formation, it killed a 9th-level Qi refining and 2 8th-level Qi refining people, causing the Qi family to suffer heavy losses and eventually withdraw under pressure. Therefore, the two sides also forged a deadly feud, and the contradiction further intensified. The terrifying power displayed by the gold-splitting formation also opened the eyes of the leader and elders of the Spirit Snake sect. They never thought that they could kill the 9th level of Qi refining with a set of first-level medium-grade formations. Although there were many other factors in the process, the role of the gold-splitting formation was indelible, and even accounted for a large part of the credit. After this experience, the Spirit Snake sect was more curious about this mysterious sect, and in the curiosity, there was also fear and awe. What's more, this is only a first-level mid-level formation. How powerful is the first-level high-level and second-level formation? Therefore, after occupying this mineral vein, the Spirit Snake sect made a decision to further deepen the cooperation between the two parties and establish a good relationship with the Shanhai sect as much as possible. Originally, they only planned to send a group of mining teams over after occupying this mineral vein, and did not plan to invest more manpower and material resources here. After all, the headquarters of the Spirit Snake sect is far away from here, and the value of the mine itself is not particularly high. However, because of the Shanhai sect, they directly changed their original plan and chose to build a base here, turning this place into an important branch in order to better cooperate with the Shanhai sect. The managers of the branch are none other than Elder Qin Jinyang and Han Yi, who had interacted with Zhou Daoqing before. After Zhou Daoqing learned about the situation, he couldn't help but have black lines on his head and shouted that seniors don't have to be like this. He was really flattered. The addition of a neighbor next to him really restricted his daily development, and he had to be more cautious in all aspects of his actions. He could only blame the spiritual snake sect for being too enthusiastic. In order not to be discovered, Zhou Daoqing also had to consider whether to expand again and add some manpower to the valley. Chapter 60 Revenge. You are listening at novelfull.audio. But now it is close to the end of the year, and it is a time of tedious affairs. We have to sell the Xuanhuan wine brewed this year, and we have to consider returning to Tianqi Mountain to report the harvest of the year, so even if we have plans, they will probably be postponed until next year. Walking into the cellar of the underground cave, the rich aroma of wine came to my nose. Dozens of jars of Xuanhuan wine were piled here, all of which were harvested this year, a total of 32 jars. Because of the irrigation of the spiritual spring, the Xuanhuan grass was harvested in advance, and it was brewed early and stored in the warehouse for precipitation. At this time, the aroma of the wine was very strong. I didn't expect that there would be 2 more jars. I just sold 30 jars, and the remaining 2 jars can be used by myself. Zhou Daoqing thought silently, in a very good mood. Spiritual wine is also a very precious cultivation resource. It can be regarded as a luxury in the world of cultivation. It is very beneficial to cultivation. It can improve magic power and regulate the body. It is sought after by a large number of cultivators. Zhou Daoqing is not greedy for wine, but leaving 2 jars for himself to drink is also a good choice for breaking through the realm. It is best to use it with Zhao Yunji for better results. The remaining 30 jars of Yuehua brew can be sold for 1,500 lingshire, which is a considerable gain, enough to complete this year's lingshire target. 1,200 of them will be handed over to the family, and the remaining 300 will be kept for personal use. Just as he was thinking, the communication stone in his arms suddenly trembled slightly. Zhou Daoqing took it out and saw that it was a message from Zhao Yunji. Zhou Daoqing, the silk inner armor needs to be sold in the market. Do you have time to go together? Zhou Daoqing secretly said that it was a coincidence. He just needed to sell Yuehua brew, and Zhao Yunji also wanted to sell silk inner armor. It was just right to go to the market together, so that they could take care of each other along the way. For his cheap wife, Zhou Daoqing occasionally visited her in the past 6 months, accumulated a small wisp of innate purple energy, and also improved their relationship. After the two agreed, they went to Baihe market together. Worried about encountering danger, they also brought Meng Yueshan and Lin Yuan with them. Compared with the past, Zhou Daoqing's strength is much better now, and his safety is guaranteed. After all, he carries 2 sets of first-level medium-grade array plates, and they are fusion arrays, splitting gold array, and golden vine array. The other set of splitting gold array was left to Qin Lai to protect the valley. Even without powerful magic tools, elixirs and talismans, and without exquisite spells, Zhou Daoqing's strength is still not weak. Even if he fights against the 9th level of Qi refining, he does not need to be afraid. What's more, there are Meng Yueshan and Lin Yuan around him, and their strength is also good. Zhou Daoqing sat on the boat, and Meng Yueshan rowed the boat towards Zhao Yunji's island. Zhao Yunji, wearing a white gauze skirt and carrying a small bag, stood on the edge of the island, elegant and calm. Seeing Zhou Daoqing coming, Zhao Yunji nodded, then threw the backpack over without any hesitation, and said coldly, "Put it in your storage bag." "Okay, Aunt Yunji." Zhao Yunji's forehead jumped slightly, and she coldly rolled her eyes at Zhou Daoqing, shook her head helplessly, and ignored Zhou Daoqing's bad taste, but turned to look at Meng Yueshan and the others. Just a quick glance, she couldn't help but change her eyes, and was secretly surprised in her heart. Another Qi refining level 8, that she looked at Zhou Daoqing meaningfully, as if shrouded in a layer of fog, making her a little confused for a while. Zhou Daoqing had already made psychological preparations after keenly noticing Zhao Yunji's gaze, and said casually, "This is my old friend Meng. Because he was short of money, he followed me to work, but he was conquered by my personality charm and was willing to follow me." "Your reason is better not to explain." Zhou Daoqing smiled and didn't care. Meng Yueshan and Lin Yuan were not secrets. Even if they were exposed, there was a reason to explain, saying that they were casual cultivators he met nearby. On the contrary, other secrets of his own, such as Wu Tu Kun Yugong, the inheritance of the formation, and Sun and Moon Sutra, must not be leaked. Before leaving, Zhou Daoqing also specifically told Meng Yueshan and Lin Yuan not to reveal the formation, otherwise he would kill them both and soak them in wine. Such an inhumane threat, the two naturally did not dare to reveal a word. The 4 left Balan Lake and entered the dense primitive jungle as usual. However, they did not find that a pair of eyes hidden in the dark were secretly paying attention to the whereabouts of the 4. Tianqi Mountain Zhou family, really a good method. The sinister eyes stared at the direction where the 4 left, like a poisonous tongue spitting out letters, brewing a fatal blow. Another slightly mature voice sounded, "Yun Xiao, is the information you found accurate? Uncle San, don't you still believe me?" On that day, Uncle 16 ambushed the deacon of the Spirit Snake sect, and it was almost certain to succeed, but he was framed by thieves in the middle of the way, and finally died here. The only force nearby that might have participated was the Zhou family. That the man called Uncle San, with a calm gaze like a pool of water, silently examined the 4 people who were leaving, and said, "Then do you know that the family has found some other information?" "What information?" "A mysterious force, Shanghai sect." A sneer appeared on the man's face. "It's really strange. It's not only the Balan Lake of the Zhou family, but also the headquarters of the Shanghai sect, and there is also the mysterious formation. What is hidden here? Qi Yunxiao's expression changed again and again when he heard this. Although he didn't know the specific situation, he also knew that the story behind it was not simple. Uncle San, should we go into Belan Lake to take a look? There must be a secret hidden here, and the Zhou family kid has left. This is the best opportunity. The middle-aged man pondered for a moment, and said in a deep tone, don't take risks. If the so-called Shanghai sect really exists, even if my strength reaches the 9th level of qi refining, it will be difficult to compete with it. This muddy water cannot be touched. Then what should we do? Did we suffer this loss in vain? Qi Yunxiao roared with a slightly hoarse voice, his eyes full of bloodshot. Yunxiao, this is the first time you leave the family to do things. It is normal to feel unwilling after failure, but failure is the norm in cultivation. You still need to polish your character. That the middle-aged man frowned, and he had discovered the defects of his nephew's character. Although he is extremely talented, his character is extreme. Qi Yunxiao's eyes were red, and he gritted his teeth, saying word by word, I can tolerate failure, but I absolutely cannot tolerate an unclear defeat, and I am defeated by a Zhou family bastard. As the young master of the Qi family, this time he helped the family to rob this vein. He invested a lot of manpower and material resources and came with the purpose of only success, not failure. In order to complete the task better, the clansmen sent were all direct relatives of Qi Yunxiao, but in the end, they lost many elders at the 8th level of qi refining and left here in disgrace. This huge gap made Qi Yunxiao unable to sleep or eat. Uncle San, if this matter cannot be resolved, it will definitely become a demon in my heart in the future, and it will be difficult for me to improve my strength. Please help me this time.